Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Third time's the charm. Whether you know it or not, our guest has been here once already. We had a power outage. The second attempt, we had a miscommunication in who was going to be here. And the third attempt, we have all made it back. Hopefully the power doesn't go out this time. We have in studio a husband, a father, a chaplain, a jiu-jitsu almost purple belt, and a emergency management.
There we go.
Mr. Joshua Castillo.
Hello.
Thank you. Looking like Jason Bourne today.
Now regretting putting on this shirt.
That's okay. So anyway, we were talking about disc golf just before we started.
Fun time.
I have a friend, Jeff, who's super into it. So the disc golf community is like, it's like a niche community, and they're as intense about disc golf as like we are about jiu-jitsu, right? And so he goes to this garage sale recently and finds this stack of discs, and this lady at the garage sale ends up giving him this stack of discs for like $5. Well, in this stack, so the company Vibram used to make discs, their own discs,
like the shoe company.
The shoe company. So the discs are cool. It's made out of like rubber stuff that Vibram uses. And so he gets the whole stack for $5, and the Vibrams are cool, and he was super stoked about the Vibrams. But then he goes to 360 Disc Golf here in Kitsap, talking to the guy about it. He's like, dude, those discs are worth probably about $150 to $200 each, and he got like 3 or 4 of them.
Oh my god!
And they're only worth that much because Vibram doesn't make it anymore, and it's like really sought after in the community. So now
finding a rare Pokemon card or
I
something.
know, dude, a rare Pokemon card. But
did he sell them?
No, dude, he's freaking keeping them. We're gonna go throw them. We're gonna go bang some chains, as they say.
As they say.
Pretty soon here. He also knows he did the flooring. I found out for George Hassan.
Did he really?
He knows George really well because Jeff was the manager at Cedar Glen in Paulsbo.
Okay.
And George's dad, I guess, lived in Cedar Glen.
Oh, okay.
So when I was telling Jeff about George, he's like, and I guess Jeff knows all George's police stories. He's like, you know George's song?
Yeah.
Dude,
George is like a staple in the community around here, man. Everybody knows
knows George.
I don't know him.
Oh, dude, we should get George on the podcast.
You should. He is.
You can
just
literally.
so
We'll
interesting.
press play. George will talk for the entire time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guest you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is just. What a legacy.
Oh man.
I mean, how long? I don't know how long Hybrid's been here, but I think it was early 2000s when he opened up his gym, right? And
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there were that many in the area at the time, but I mean, what a legacy. He is a four-stripe
black belt.
Black belt.
Wow.
And
Unassumingly strong.
yes, very athletic. I didn't realize like how is he bald? Aside from the beard, I didn't realize how old he was.
Yeah. Well, I've got a George beard story in a minute. But
yeah. But he has how many black belts under him?
All of them.
All of them in the area.
George is the kind of guy so at the Rev, there's like 4,000, 5,000 people at the Rev, and George is the guy that
What's the Rev?
It's one of the biggest jiu-jitsu competitions in
this
the
area.
state.
Yeah.
And George will go there, and he's like semi-royalty. Like everybody knows George.
Yeah.
There because he has so many people that have gone out from under him and then started their own schools.
Yeah.
Tom being one of them.
Tom's one of them. So D&G.
Tom is your guys' instructor.
Yeah. D&G grappling. Derek has his own thing for like military law enforcement that he does, his own gym. He's another black belt I know of. You have Jared. He didn't start his own, but Jared's black belt. I'm trying to think. I swear he has like 10 black belts under him at this point. Probably more, honestly, but just that I know of. So it's like an amazing legacy if you think about it.
Yeah. So he has this pristine beard, right?
Yeah, beautiful beard.
Beautiful.
Just Father Christmas.
And
Nice.
and gorgeous beard. And so I had grown my beard out. Just this last week, it was longer than I had it in a couple years. But I usually grow my mustache out with the beard, but it's always kind of funky and weird.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to do. And I remember I was in the bathroom and I was like looking in the mirror, and I told my wife, and I was like, I think George's got it down to like it's like perfection, right? Because he has the mustache trimmed nicely, right?
Yeah.
And then the beard comes down off the chin. It just looks great, but the mustache isn't like flowing down over his mouth and
Seamless.
because
Yeah.
he keeps his mustache really trim. So I was like, I think I'm going to try that. So I grab a pair of clippers. I didn't have my contacts in. I thought I had grabbed a number 7 clipper. I grabbed a number 3. So I went whoop
Oh no.
on that, and then all of a sudden I look like one of the guys from Dagestan from
You should have
the
just
UFC.
ran with it.
And
man.
I'm like going like this, and my wife's like,
Oh,
"What's going on?"
Sent to Dagestan 2-3 years. Forget.
Dude, that's exactly how I look, dude. So
Your wife was like, not having it.
I did think it would be funny in the next rev to go with the full
You should.
setup. Change
do
my
it.
name in Smooth Comp to something
Super
something Russian,
Dagestani.
and then show up in a fur pelt and just
Oh, dude.
walk onto the
Do
floor.
it. Just see what they do. I'd throw in the towel.
Yeah, dude.
Like 9 times out of 10, if it's Dagestani who's fighting, I'm like,
Oh, dude.
I want to root for the American, but he's probably gonna win.
that last fight with DDP, and I went into that fight thinking that DDP could hold his own. Not even close. That was incredible.
To be fair, this is their guy. Like this is their life. Like what they do over there. It is insane. More respect to them.
Yeah, you should go back and watch that fight, Michael. It is very one-sided.
This is a UFC event.
Yeah.
The most recent.
No, it's not the most recent.
ago?
A couple ago, but yeah, this what's the guy? I can never pronounce his name.
Gosh,
He's from Dubai, I think.
I don't remember.
But
Maybe.
but he he basically got Dracus Duplessis, who's just a monster of a man, and put him in what's called a crucifix position, which just isolates both arms, and your head's stuck underneath the chest, and your feet are sticking out the other side.
It's very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. And he just sits there and just not even hard hits, just tapping your head. And he did that for like
Didn't I get you in a crucifix last time we rolled?
3 5-minute rounds. Yes, you did. Yeah.
Nicely done.
I was hunting him though, because after I watched that UFC fight, I was like, I need to figure out how to get into this.
Oh, they're great. I've been trying to figure it out. Phil, one of the brown belts at the gym, showed me, and I was like, it blew my mind.
Indeed. So what else has been going on, man? You haven't been in the gym for a while.
I have not been in the gym, and I miss it so much. But I, like we were talking about before,
You've been in the other gym.
been in the other gym. I one thing, as busy as I am, that I try and do is exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Looking great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I've had to pull back a little bit just due to injuries and
Busyness.
honestly. If I can get 3 to 4 days in, I feel pretty good at this point.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I've been doing I've been interning at my church, Coram Deo in Bremerton, which has been an amazing experience. It's weird being a 33-year-old intern, but I mean, it's an amazing thing. I've been
We're all interns always.
I tell you, man. It's like, look, if you want me to scrub toilets, that's what I'll do. They don't. I've been.
And if they had, you'd have been out of there.
I know. I was like, I don't know. This isn't really. Sure, this is
Listen,
ministry.
I said it.
This doesn't
but
seem like
come on.
ministry.
What's the guy who's oh man, I've read the book like 20 times. Why am I blanking on the name? The monk that practicing God's presence. Who am I talking about? The guy that was the
Catholic monk?
well, I mean that's all they were back in the day.
Practicing God's
Is
presence.
he like an
Is this like
Augustinian monk or something?
Continue. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna check the chat.
Check the
here.
Goog.
Anyway, your internship's going well.
Yeah, I am look. They're positioning me, I think, to take over the kids ministry lead role.
Brother Lawrence.
Brother Lawrence. I've never heard of him.
Oh, dude,
Me neither.
freaking great read, man.
What's the book? The book is called Brother Lawrence, or
The
that's the guy
book
who
is
wrote
called
it?
Practicing God's Presence. So he's
Okay.
a monk, and he's like essentially, an intern. He takes the most lowly position in a monastery, and is like, you would think today that he was schizophrenic because he's constantly verbally having conversations with God throughout his entire day and everything he does. And at the end of his life, they asked him if he would like write about it, and he did, and it's great.
Wow.
I
How
lo-
long ago
I
was
love
this?
that.
Oh, like 1200s, 1100s.
Super long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's I think for me, I joke about it, but I'm not above scrubbing toilets. I'll tell you that for free. I want to serve. My desire is to serve the church, to serve God's people. And so I think service starts honestly with just doing whatever it is the church needs you to do at the time, right? And trusting your leadership to guide you in your calling. I do feel called to ministry, and so this was an amazing opportunity. I think the Lord opened up a door. And I'd already been working with the ministry since I got to that church, so a little over 2 years now. And I know we were talking about it before, but I'll just explain it. The intent of the ministry, really, we call it Kids Community, right? There's 3 sessions that we do a year, but what we're really interested in at Coram Deo is teaching kids how to think critically and about discussing the Word of God, talking about the gospel, talking about Jesus, talking about doctrine. And one of the things that we practice at Coram Deo is we don't have like a Sunday school. Like we have nursery that's available for children 4 and under. But if you're 4 and up, you practice worship with your parents in the regular service, right? And we believe really strongly that's where discipleship starts. It's like kids learn to worship alongside their parents, not apart from them. And so that's actually been a really successful model for the church. But part of kids community is that, okay, we take that and we want them kids to be able to discuss amongst their peers the things that were talked about on Sunday. Right. And so that's the whole intent of kids community. And so we get a bunch of volunteers from the church to lead the classes. Really, they're leading the discussions. It's not like a lecture or anything. But it's been really successful in that we have like 60 kids, and we're not that large of a church, so finding space for everybody can be kind of difficult sometimes.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, and so the lady who had like developed this ministry and really like made it a thing, her name's Krista. She's moving on to bigger and better things within the church. And so when this opportunity came up, 1, I needed an internship for seminary, and then 2, I saw the church was looking. I was like, well, the timing seems right, and so I've been able to step into this, and it's been an amazing experience. I think one of the things that really touches my heart is I like working with kiddos. That's why I help coach jiu-jitsu. Kids are a lot of fun. I think as adults sometimes we forget how to be kids, and I think that's partly why so many people are so miserable as adults. So you forget, you forget how to enjoy life, right? Without
to a healthy balance without being a child.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and just taking basic joy in things, I think people forget how to do. Right, and
children trust
right
more fully and more easily.
And to be fair, they're probably not as jaded by life as adults are.
Yeah,
it's a grind. But the amazing thing that I really love is, and I'm at the beginning of this internship, but you do all the planning, you're doing the administrative stuff, getting volunteers, recruiting for the session, and that. So we started doing all that in August, and then September is when it kicks off, right? But then you get to part of my job is in the middle of the session, I'll go from kind of classroom to classroom, just observing, making sure the teachers are okay, everything's going all right. But you get to see different age groups, like 4 to 6 year olds, 5 to 7 year olds, 8 to 9 year olds, and 10 to 11 year olds, talking and discussing God, Jesus, the sermon from Sunday, right? And that's probably one of the sweetest things I think about doing this ministry is you get to actively see the next generation of disciples being ministered to and discipled, and thinking critically about these things, right? I think, and that is to me the most obvious hand of God moment, I should say, right? That there are going to be a generation who comes after us who does know the Lord, right? And that's to me is very encouraging given the times. You know what I mean?
Right. That
the Lord isn't absent in what's going on and all the craziness in the world, because there will be a generation that comes up after us, right? And gosh, if I can be part of just getting some of them to know the Lord, then that's a huge blessing.
Yeah. What's Coram Deo's? Do you guys have a
denomination?
Yeah, denominational background?
Yes. So, and I'm not super familiar with the history. We're a Reformed church. Our theology is Reformed. We don't have an official confession, and I'm still learning some of the background of that, so I'll try and explain it as best as possible. But
Like all the you guys just go to the Westminster stuff?
Westminster, yes, we're actually doing a catechism class on that now, Tuesdays. We are like half Presbyterian, half Reformed Baptist.
As far as the congregants?
As far as the congregants go, and I'm not really sure how that ended up working out. I think a lot of it had to do with churches in the area maybe closing down during COVID, and you had people just during 2020 just moving around the country, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
you know,
That's smart, dude. Never go full Presbyterian.
I'm telling you. And here's the thing: it's like there are so many. You have to. I'm gonna try and say this carefully. I'm a Presbyterian. I believe in infant baptism, right? But I'm not going to break fellowship with a Baptist.
Yep.
Because there are so many.
Us.
Right. Yeah.
We grew up hard Baptist.
Hard
dude.
Baptist. Well,
Hard Baptist.
We'd
There
run
were-
up and pull that baby out of the water. What are you doing?
Stop it!
Yeah.
He hasn't made his choice yet.
I mean, can you imagine if Moses had been like, leave the kids in Egypt, they can make their choice when they're older. I kid. Here's the thing, though. Why would I break fellowship with? There's out of all the problems in the world right now, I think we need to aim at unity, and that's one of the things Paul was always talking about is try and aim at unity.
Yeah.
You know, and I really appreciate our elders in taking a very long time, as I understand it, to come up with like the best solution for the church. And they actually had a class, or they had like a church meeting where they discussed like, could Charles Spurgeon, who was a famous Baptist preacher, and John Calvin, who is, you know, a huge pillar in the Reformed movement and was who believed in paedo baptism, could they have gone to church together, right? Had they been alive at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the question that was being asked. Like, and the answer is probably, right? And we should aim at the same thing. And so, you know, I think some people would view that as like playing, like being too wishy-washy, or maybe just taking the middle ground on some things. But right now, we're dealing in our society with issues of like, what is truth, right? Is there such a thing as objective truth? Or is it all just a societal construct? Like, there are bigger questions that are being asked, and this is one I would consider it an essential doctrine, baptism, an essential thing, but not a hill that we should, at the moment, die on in fighting amongst ourselves. Right?
Agreed.
So, you know, I think you call it like theological triage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see what's like, what is the most important thing? What are the essentials that we have to affirm as a body of Christ in the church? And then you go from there, right? And so as important as baptism is,
It's a first world problem.
it's a first world problem. It's like, okay, well, let's just get people into the church first. Let's get them to know what the gospel and who Christ is,
Yeah.
right? We know we all agree on baptism. Like, that's not a problem.
Right.
It's the when,
Mm-hmm.
right?
What happens before versus what happens after.
Right. And, you know, and again, I think there's this concern from people when they see this sort of maybe what they would consider to be middle of the road sort of take. There's this concern that we're not being taking a hard enough stance in this sort of thing. But
Do you feel like there is that? Because I kind of feel like that concern is faded in my lifetime. I feel like people care much. Like, I've attended Bible churches, Baptist churches, and Christian churches, and
Non-denominational. I hope they're all Christian churches.
Well, Christian is like
Like,
yeah,
Church of
Kingston
Christ?
Christian Church.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and it's a they broke off from Churches of Christ, and there's so many denominations, but it really feels like Protestants are not. I'm not experiencing a lot of disagreement between Protestants on much
Baptism.
of anything. Yeah, it's like it feels like people are really willing to agree to disagree on that kind of stuff these days.
I think so.
More
I
so
think,
than 20 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are several things that are happening. I only reference that because I know of one instance in which someone did leave the church because they felt the church was not taking a hard stance on baptism.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
I think to your question, I think in American Christianity or Western Christianity, but you see this, I think, mostly in America, is there is such a lack of knowledge of doctrine and what Protestantism actually is, that there's not a whole lot of hard stance taken on much, right? And that's unfortunate. A lot of people, I think, are what they would call non-denominational Christians, but have no clue what it means to be a Protestant, what we're protesting in the first place, right? And I think you really see the bickering over doctrine from like the Reformed camp, right? Mostly the Reformed camp. I think a lot of people are just so unfamiliar with what it means to be a Protestant, what it means to be Christian in America. It's like, oh, you go to church on Sundays and you pray to Jesus, you have a personal relationship with him, this, and this, right? And that's fine. That's fair. I would call that, and I don't want to knock on anyone, but it goes so much deeper than that. Where especially John Calvin, where he was really concerned, it was, how do we take the gospel, how do we take Christianity and put that into every facet of how we live as a society, right? And Abraham Kuyper, he was a writer in the 19th century. He was actually the Netherlands prime minister, I believe.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was a really smart dude. Really smart dude. He's a brilliant theologian. He has these series of lectures, which I highly recommend, on Calvinism, right? So I'd be a Calvinist, for example. But how that has developed the modern Western world as we know it, right? How it has affected every aspect of life. Because John Calvin, for all his mistakes, one of the things that was unique about Geneva and what he was doing at his time was that they really believed in trying to get the gospel into every facet of life. Work, how we ran the government, how we ran businesses, right? How we conducted ourselves as a society. I think in American Christianity, that sort of thought process is divorced from everything else we do, as if they're a separate thing. Like, I'm a Christian, it's my personal faith, I do it at home, then I go to work Monday through Friday, and I go to church on Sundays. I'm a generally good person.
It's siloed.
It's very siloed, right? I mean, I think we all fall into that. I don't want to sound super judgmental of people, because I think a lot of that there's a renewed interest in Christianity from the newer generation, and they're coming out of that. They're trying to see, like, okay, how does my faith really affect other aspects of my life? But we've been kind of lulled into this sleep for the past 100 years or so. And, I think there is a renewed interest in really understanding what doctrine is, like what baptism means. As a result, I think some people are breaking fellowship where they don't need to, because I think they are taking hard stances on what I would call secondary and even tertiary doctrines. But I think it's out of a genuine concern to preserve the faith and do right by the faith. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I think there's a renewed interest too in kind of talking about people being lulled over the last however many years. I know in our generation, there's a ton of people that I know in my life, and you see it all over the internet, that have made the choice to deconstruct.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But a lot of those people that I know in my life, their renewed interest, and they're coming back to it, is in orthodoxy. It's in Catholicism.
Yes.
And it's like because I think as the church in the 90s and the 2000s, we went so far into how can we integrate this into our culture, in the sense of integrate our culture into
The church.
our faith, that it became just so lukewarm, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And some great music sometimes came out of that. But
I grew up with listening to like gospel music.
Yeah.
John P. Key, Fred Hammond.
Well, I'm talking about like DC Talk, Newsboys.
I love the Newsboys too. There's some good music.
Dude,
But,
Newsboys they're like the Beatles of Christian music.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're so good.
But these people that are coming back, and they've gone so far in the other direction, which I think has, I've personally looked into Orthodoxy and Catholicism in recent years only because of that same, I didn't deconstruct, but I have been sitting in church on Sunday morning and being like, I feel like I'm wasting my time right at this moment.
Yeah. And that's yeah. Well, that's the thing. And really, and I'll say this, and I don't know your church, so this is just a general thing. A lot of non-denominational, a lot of Protestant churches, evangelical. I'll say evangelical as kind of an umbrella term. You don't get Christ and the gospel preached a lot of the time. Usually what ends up happening is you get a feel-good sermon that they pull something out of the New or the Old Testament, and you get this moral, like, let's be like Daniel, or let's be like, and maybe Christ is sprinkled in there a little bit, right? But unless Christ and the gospel are preached, in the power of the Spirit, you are wasting your time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Christ said he is the fulfillment of all of the scriptures, right? And you have to preach Christ. You have to preach the cross. You have to preach why we needed the gospel in the first place, right? Because you're trying, one, the gospel strengthens people who hear it if you're already a believer, right? So it's not like you stop needing the gospel after you're saved. You need constant reminders of the fact that you are saved, that you fall short of God's glory, but because of what Christ has done through his atoning sacrifice, you're reconciled to the Father. That strengthens the believer. For people who are unbelieving, it convicts them, right? It convicts them to repent, to place their faith in Christ, right? I think you lose a lot of that in a lot of these evangelical churches, right? And what is so appealing about the Catholics and the Catholicism and Orthodoxy is this sense of high tradition, right? This sense of, I am connected to this tradition that goes back thousands of years. This tradition that seems holy. I mean, and to be fair, there is a liturgy. It's very structured. That's appealing. Part of why I like the Presbyterian tradition is because they didn't do away with a lot of that stuff, in the sense of we take communion every Sunday. We have a liturgy. There's a structure to the service. There's scripture reading by the congregation. There's a call to repentance. So it's very structured. Where we disagree, it obviously, is with the Pope being like infallible, right?
Oh, yeah.
right.
So, but
and perpetual virginity
of Mary. And if you don't believe those things, according to Catholic doctrine, or not doctrine, excuse me, they call them dogmas. I don't want to straw man their arguments, but
for the Catholics listening, we're sorry.
Yeah, if they don't believe those things, then you're anathema, right? But I consider Catholics my brothers as much as I consider Orthodox.
Yeah, that's a weird point that we've talked about this a lot, and it's just like, I absolutely kind of have come to the conclusion that there's no way that I could be Catholic. There's no way. However, I 100% believe that you're going to be right there next to me.
Absolutely. Listen, if I had nowhere else to go, and because maybe, I don't know, I'm in the middle of nowhere and there was just a Catholic or Orthodox church, that's where I would be to worship. And that might, like, I don't know, some of my Reformed brethren might be like, shame. But honestly, I mean, we are the body of Christ, right? As a whole. So we'll go worship where there are genuine believers. That's what I say, right? And honestly, if out of this whole crazy time, if all these young people are going to Orthodoxy and Catholicism, as much as I want them to be in my camp, right? And that's really what it comes down to. I want you to be in my camp, right? In my tribe, in my denomination. If you become a Christian and become a Catholic, that is amazing. Yeah. I would rather you be there than be an atheist, than be an agnostic, than go to hell, right? Yeah. Just because I disagree with your doctrine, right? I don't think the Pope's infallible, right? I think there's only 66 books in the Bible. That doesn't mean I think you're damned just because you go to a different denomination, right? I mean, to be fair, there are some denominations like I would not recommend, like, some of the heretical ones.
Yeah.
But listen, let's just get people into a church, a genuine church that preaches Christ, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I get wrapped up in talking about church
great.
a lot, but
no, dude. Have you ever watched? There's a YouTube guy. His name's Father Mike.
Father Mike. I know that name.
Oh man, he's this YouTube group is called, I think, Ascension Presents. on YouTube, and Catholic priests. But dude, this guy, when he talks, and he specifically, he's a college, he like is a priest at a college. So he is like, you're listening to him and you're like, oh dude, like obviously God's working through you.
Yeah.
Like I could sit there and listen to him all day long. Like freaking awesome stuff that he puts out, and legitimate Christian. He's the one that really got me thinking, like kind of looking into a bunch of like Catholic doctrines and stuff. And because all growing up, in the Baptist church, it was like, oh, Catholics, are they Christian? Like we don't really, that wasn't something that we really talked about.
And so many of us have parents who were Catholic, and we're like, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they find a Protestant church, they're like, I'm pretty sure Catholics don't believe in God.
Yeah. But as soon as like I started watching Father Mike, I was like, there's no way this guy isn't just 100% filled with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And so, yeah. And
some of the most spirit-filled people I've ever met were Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I met this physician assistant. He's a captain in the Guard. Just a absolute unit of a man. Just
big dude.
Oh, big dude. Just a unit. I think he was in Special Forces prior to whatever he was doing. So which makes sense. That's probably why he's so built. But it's just an absolutely down-to-earth, humble, driven, spirit-filled man, and we had some of the best conversations. And just in talking with him and how he lives out his faith, I'm like, there's no way like you're not saved. There's no way you're not, just because you're Catholic, right? And that was one of the most beautiful things. Like he really, he's a Christian who tries to, he raises his kids, teaches them, raises his kids to know the Lord, and he brings his faith into everything he does. And I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. There's some Protestants who don't do that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I haven't interacted too much with the Eastern Orthodox people. I have met one so far, but there are a few guys on YouTube I like to listen to just because I think they're really interesting. You ever listen to Jonathan Pajot?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he does.
I know him.
Yeah, he gets really deep into some things, and I'm so lost right now.
Right.
But he's an Eastern Orthodox guy, and I highly recommend listening to him. There's a Catholic apologist I like named Trent Horn, I think, who very, very well spoken. He's in the culture, really just debating ideas and stuff like that. So you take what you like from these guys, right?
Who's the guy? Is it Father Barron something? He like really famous. Like I think he's like I think he was at Trump's like inauguration or something like that.
Oh wow.
But just another one that's like kind of like the Charles Spurgeon of the Catholic world.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I think the variety in traditions can be a great strength.
Yeah.
In our faith, and for me, I've probably explained this on the pod before, but my wife and I disagree on baptism, and we disagreed on it while we were dating, and it was like years going back and forth, breaking up and dating and breaking up, and
over baptism.
Baptism was a piece of it.
His wife's family is Church of Christ.
It's amazing how one issue, once you get into discussing it and your differences on it and you start going through scripture, leads to, it just touches everything in your faith, and you end up talking about all of it. But, we still to this day agree to disagree, and I almost wouldn't have it any other way at this point. And we're having children now, and I feel like at first I was worried. It's like, what happens when we have children? What are we going to teach them? Are we going to have to fight about it in front of them? Are we going to be debating between each other to convince our kid of one or the other? But it's going to be what I envision, what I think is going to happen when it's time to have those kinds of conversations with our children is, here are two perspectives of the same thing.
Can you elaborate just so Josh and everybody?
Oh yeah, I mean the big thing on baptism is how essential is it for salvation, and so there are traditions where it's like it's baptism has become close to an afterthought for certain traditions, and other traditions have placed baptism at such a, they have prioritized it to the degree where it becomes a bit of a bat to beat down people who don't have as a refined and a focused vision of it. But yeah, for me, I grew up underappreciating baptism, and I would say that she had grown up overemphasizing it. And we've come to the point where I believe the most important part happens before baptism and leads you into baptism, and she believes that the most important part happens during baptism and going forward. But what we realized is that baptism essentially lands functionally in the same place in our life. It's just we have a bunch of thoughts about what's happening before, during, and after.
Yeah.
But functionally, you do it at exactly the same time. And so, our kids, it's that's what has given us great comfort and has given us a lot of insight into our own faith. It's like, oh, okay, it's nice to have a varied tradition, even in one household. Anyways.
No, and I really like that. And we're called to peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're called to reasonable discussion, right? And I think, too, at the end of the day, for example, in your situation, is, there is nothing that, prayer together wouldn't ultimately solve, I think, right? Like, and even if you don't end up agreeing on the same thing, it's like, well, we can still come to disagree to disagree. We agree on baptism.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes the enemy takes these differences and really just makes a mountain out of molehills, and then we just start bickering, and it's like, well, no, we're called to peace, right? We don't. It's not like we're throwing baptism out, right? And so I think that's a really beautiful approach on your part, right? Baptism is, I would say, I think baptism saves, right? Because that's what Peter says. Baptism saves, right? Not as a washing of like dirt from the skin, but as an appeal to God for a good conscience, right? But I also think, like, say someone is a believer, or someone gives their life to Christ in a church, goes outside, gets hit by a car, I also think they're going to heaven, right? Yeah. But if you have the let's assuming that doesn't happen, you should be baptized.
Right.
That's what we're commanded to do.
Right.
And also, baptism should, like, to take Holy Communion, you should be baptized, if possible. At least that's what my church practices, right? It's like you can take communion, maybe you haven't been baptized yet, but you need to be intending to be baptized here soon.
Right. Well, and it's incumbent on our teachers and the people who are studying it for us to let us know. For me, baptism ended up being, what prompted it was church membership. It was like, yeah, you got to be baptized, because I was 17 at the time, so still figuring things out. And I don't think it was a bad time. I don't regret the timing of it. But I also, a phrase that I've heard a lot in the last few years is, God judges people based on what they know, not based on what they don't know. Not to say that anyone has an excuse when they stand before him.
Right.
But yeah, to your argument, brand new to the faith, you find him 30 minutes before you get hit by a car, didn't have time to get baptized, maybe no one even talked to you about it, just like the thief on the cross.
Right.
You'll be with me in heaven.
Yeah, and that's become kind of a meme as a cudgel for people to say, oh, see, well, it's not that important.
Right. Yeah, exactly,
right.
Which is a mistake.
It's a huge mistake, right?
That was the mistake I made growing up, thinking it's not important.
Right. And like the Lord has a lot of grace with these things, I think, baptism really is it's a beautiful thing, just like communion. It's a means of grace. It's a means of really sealing ourselves to the Lord. I mean, like, taking communion is something I look forward to every Sunday. I don't believe in transubstantiation, but I believe in real spiritual presence.
But there's another thing where it's like, yeah, there's all there's this varied beliefs of it, but functionally, you, me, and the Catholics all take communion at the same time for the same reason. There's just, some people have a little more baggage attached to it. Some people have a little less.
Right. And honestly, like, for most people, it's something they want to do because they want to honor the Lord. Right. But they're not theologians. Yeah. Not to say that there are lay people who aren't learned, but like, look at if you're a mom and you're a homeschool mom and you got like a bunch of kids, you probably don't have a lot of time to be doing like research on church history and doctrine and stuff. Or maybe if you're
those homeschool moms.
But I'm just saying some of them go hard. Some of them probably know a lot more than I do. But I'm not going to fault anybody for not like, hey, the Lord says I should do this.
Right.
I might not know, like, is this actually becoming His body and His blood? Is it just a symbol? I might not know all of that, but He says to do it. I love the Lord. I'm going to do it. I don't fault people for that mindset. Right.
Right.
James says the teachers will be judged at a higher standard for a good reason.
We had to have a bathroom break. Sorry about that.
I have the bladder of a 2-year-old. I apologize.
And then as soon as Josh went, the dominoes fell, and then everybody else had to.
I inspired people.
No, Adam's the only one squeezing it in.
I'm holding it in, dude.
This is why I like to drive myself when I travel. Like,
yes!
Because I have to pee every like hour.
Yep.
And it takes me forever to get anywhere. My boss is finally like,
yeah,
you're driving on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told her, like, look, if you don't pull over, I'm going to pull a rat race. You ever seen Rat Race where she sticks her butt out the window to go back?
Dude.
So,
whoa, great movie. Oh, I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
I'm weaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both have been in sales, and I was a CDL driver too, and so yeah, dude, you got to plan those bathroom stops.
Yeah.
And
don't if you're a truck driver, don't you just pee in a jug or something?
Oh, dude, here's the deal, man. Never, if you're ever on a job site with a truck driver and he has an extra hard hat for you, never put on the extra hard hat.
Oh my goodness,
that's the emergency hard hat, dude. For all them gas station burritos.
Oh no, you can't stop. You can't stop.
Brody.
You know what's
funny? Are you talking from experience?
Oh, dude. Ask any truck driver and they'll have a story for you, dude.
Oh, dude.
They'll have a freaking story for you.
I really have a respect for truck drivers.
And the worst place for bathrooms is the deeper you get into a metropolitan area like Seattle, the worse the bathroom situation becomes. It's easier to find a bathroom out in the middle of nowhere, even like a porta-john at a park, versus trying to, like, when you're delivering something in downtown Seattle, you're not going to find anything,
good luck,
dude.
I mean, luckily in Seattle, you can just
the only
pee
nice
anywhere.
bathrooms are locked behind.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can just pee anywhere in Seattle, but everything's locked up.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I use a restroom? No.
Yeah.
Well, we have a really good friend doing ministry in Japan, and it's the opposite problem. He says that bathrooms are everywhere, and they're all super nice.
The Japanese really have it down.
All got bidets. You go in there, and it's like there's like noise canceling stuff, so nobody can hear your poopy farts.
Did you see that
and
South Park
music
episode
playing.
of the making fun of the Japanese toilets?
Mm-mm.
Oh, where he goes in Home Depot and dude, and there's like red tape. They're like, oh, you want to buy what kind of toilet?
Japanese toilet. Back here, sir. Want some champagne? I've used one of those toilets, though. The hype is real. They're amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a preheated.
Preheated. Listen.
No, it should not be heated. It needs to be cold. When I touch it, it needs to be cold.
What are you talking
that means,
about?
The toilet seat?
Yeah, because the colder it is, the further away you are on the timeline of the last butt that sat on it.
Why would you want? No, it's heated up for you.
I know, but
It
mentally, it takes me to the same place.
That's
someone's
warm butt was on it before you.
I feel like yes. The metaphor is my butt is touching another butt.
See, I've had to use a porta-john in like sub-zero temperatures, and you go in there and you gotta like pull trowel down, and it's like
but then if you sit down and it's warm, you're like, oh.
Yeah. You're like, oh no. Whose sweaty butt was on this thing?
That's what I'm saying.
Like Porta Johns in the army, man. It's like I swear everyone saves their nastiest dumps from when they go to drill.
Yeah, dude.
And like,
what do you mean, yeah, dude?
No, I can only imagine. I'm not in the military. I can just only imagine.
I imagine it's the same with the truck stops.
High protein diets
and construction sites.
That's all the MREs.
Oh yeah,
Airways. Yeah, it's all the MREs.
Stops you up.
Oh, dude.
Oof.
Dude, speaking about nice bathrooms, not a sponsor, but back to what we were talking about, dude.
Buc-ee's.
This is they are known for the best bathrooms you will ever have on a travel.
Do they have the Japanese toilets?
No, but they are
Listen out.
cleaned every half hour.
See, that's awesome.
And they are fully enclosed. Yeah, with like you can't hear the person next to you.
Just blowing it up.
Music. It smells good in there, and they have hired people that are dedicated to making sure the bathroom is always clean.
I don't understand why it's such a controversial thing in this country to like have a clean bathroom. I don't know.
Is it controversial?
I would say, and maybe in my mind, but You go to a bathroom anywhere out here, trucks, gas station, whatever, right?
It's terrible.
Like, do people purposely try and poop on the seats, or like just make a mess in there? You know what I mean?
Dude, you
Like-
open up the stall and it's like somebody didn't flush. You're like, bro.
Really?
Oh, dude, I know.
You couldn't like,
You just go to the next stall.
You're like, I don't want to poop on another poop.
yeah. Well, I don't want to sit down on this graffitied toilet seat.
I'm not pooping on your poop.
I love our conversation has.
Shifted. It's the natural progression of a guy's conversation.
Yeah.
Jesus and bowel movements. There you
High
go.
theology, high church.
High protein diet.
High protein diet. And there was- hey, Buc-ee's was the segue, to be fair. So
Yeah.
there's church, Buc-ee's, and then everything else. I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do church at Buc-ee's.
Dude, you know, it's a one-stop shop.
Yep.
You need them everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, they could.
Have you ever
Can
been?
you get baptized?
I've never been. I want to go to Buc-ee's.
Oh, dude.
I've never been to Texas.
Oh, dude, fly in, dude. We're you know, because I'm moving there here in a bit.
A little jealous.
Yeah, definitely come visit. I found a jiu-jitsu gym. Have you heard of Daisy Fresh?
Mm-mm.
Daisy Fresh, oh dude, it's a fun jiu-jitsu story. Like guys that just love jiu-jitsu and they sleep on the mats at night and wake up in the morning and do jiu-jitsu. It's like a
camp.
It is a camp for guys that just like I want to do jiu-jitsu and
That's all I want to do.
they moved to this like small town in Illinois
Wow.
and just started like eating, you know,
They did the
eating-
Dagestani thing.
pretty much. And they're becoming one of like these up and coming teams that's taken on like B Team and New
Oh, I've heard-
Wave.
That's all you do. If that's your life.
That's all they do. And so they became a big deal in Illinois. And then they
freaking
just
awesome.
opened up their first satellite campus
In Texas.
half hour from my new house.
You gonna just drop it all and
Maybe.
sleep on the mats? Bye, babe. Sorry, you raised the kids. I have to see if I can
Top
do
guy,
this.
the top guy there at that campus though is a brown belt, which I'm not opposed to. But my wife was like, "Shouldn't we be learning on a black belt like Tom?" I
think-
was like, Tom would love to hear you say that.
Ask George. I could be wrong. I think when he opened up his gym, he wasn't a black belt yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm not
dude,
opposed to it.
Back in the day, it was like blue belts and purple belts would be teaching and opening gyms because there wasn't anyone to.
Yeah, and I think especially
Teach.
purple belt, I think that's fine. Brown belt, dude. If like Phil opened a gym tomorrow, dude, absolutely.
I love learning from Phil.
Yeah.
Phil is an amazing instructor and just a cool guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool guy to talk to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think nowadays with how popular jiu-jitsu has become, you know,
You can find black belts.
you can like pretty much find black belts anywhere. I think I have a buddy in Arkansas where it's still hard to find gyms. It's Arkansas too, so I don't
It's hard to find people.
It's hard to find. Yeah.
Didn't your sister move to Arkansas?
Yes. So Arkansas. My sister is a police officer in Arkansas.
All three people over there, huh?
Yep. She's arrested all three of them.
All three of them.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
think there's a lot of people in Arkansas.
I don't understand why people still want to be cops nowadays. I mean, more power to them. I love cops.
Well, I think it's a
It's-
lot. Being a cop in Arkansas is very different than being a cop in Seattle.
That's fair.
For sure.
I've heard this is like the hardest state to be a cop in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a podcast I listen to. It's a hunting
LA is
podcast
pretty
called
bad.
Meat Eater with
Yes.
yeah.
I love like what's his name? Steve
Ranella.
Ranella.
Yeah. So and their Bear Grease guy, whatever, I forget his name. He's from Arkansas.
Does he? That makes sense.
Does all the bear hunting there. But they were telling a story one time of like the deer stands in Arkansas are like a thing, and like so as a cop, like probably a lot of the stuff you're going out to are these like the guys will put up deer stands on public land and they'll claim it as like this is mine. But it's on public land, and so they'll show up to their deer stand and somebody else will be in it, and it gets real, dude.
Seriously?
Yes.
See, I grew up a city boy, so I'm not.
Same.
I watch Meat Eater like I'm ever gonna dress a deer or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out hunting tomorrow.
Same here.
Yeah.
Okay, but I imagine it's like
Riding a bike?
no.
No. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I could shoot something. I don't know how to freaking field dress it. But I imagine like, okay, you take the time to put something up, even if it's on public land, right? It's kind of like claiming another man's fishing spot. You know what I mean?
True. I
Yeah.
mean, if I saw something set up like that,
Well, it's not like they like come to like they didn't like set it up and then leave and then come right back to it. It's like it's been there for years.
Oh, they're just squatting, kind of.
Pretty much. Yeah, and it's like, well, every year we come back like our father put this up in the 60s and we come back every deer season and it's just always there. So if somebody's out hiking in the summer, they're like, oh, there's a deer stand. They're in a really old deer stand, and then they decide they want to get up in it, and then
It gets
you didn't
gets
know.
heated.
Yeah, dude. And so like they were telling stories of like they'd go to like they'd find out where the person lives and like go like catch their car on fire or something.
the hell?
I don't know.
What the hell?
Oh.
Don't mess with an Arkansasian's Arkansas
Deer? Sure.
deer stand.
Arkansas.
Kansas.
That's one of those states I always forget about. I apologize.
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Have you seen the meme where they look at Arkansas versus Kansas because the spelling's the same, but you say Kansas, but it's not Arkansas, but it's spelled exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's Arkansas.
And you don't say Kansas. You say Kansas.
Weird.
Dang.
English language.
Who the
dude.
hell named these states?
It's the patriarchy, dude. Hey, I know we took a break and we kind of diverted our thing, but we are up on time, kind of, sort of. Any last words there, Josh? Are you coming back to jiu-jitsu anytime soon?
I will be coming back to jiu-jitsu. I wish I was a more interesting guest for you, so I want to say thank you.
Oh
to,
no, dude, that was
to both
great.
of you.
Dude, no. Don't say that. Edit that out. Jeez Louise.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
No, last words.
You're the only guest we've tried 3 times to get an episode of.
And the power didn't go out.
Yeah.
Let's see if it saves
Right
properly.
at the end.
See if it
Yeah.
saves properly. Right?
Yeah.
Got to make it to the end.
Oh my god.
The only thing is, I thank you guys for having me. This is always a pleasure. I love talking about the faith. I love talking about Jesus. With everything going on in the world right now, for what my opinion's worth, there is always hope.
Mm-hmm.
I think people tend to forget that God is still very active in history, right? And so I would just say to people who don't believe yet, just place your faith in Christ. There was always hope in him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's won the victory already, right? And then for people who are Christian who maybe are wondering where God is and all the craziness that's been going on lately is, he always has a bigger plan, right? We don't see the things that he sees. We don't know the things that he knows, but we know we can trust him. We know we can trust him with it, even unto death, right? And I think that's right now the most important thing for people to remember is we do serve an all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent God. So, yeah, that's kind of my last words for it.
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us,
helpful.
everybody. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.